okay, don't worry. He feels.
You had them all good. It's not a great-
Right.
Over there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, excavated version.
There's Council Cooper there. Oh, yeah, Mike's on now, Tracy.
Sit in front of it.
Oh, somebody like, someone else. Replacing that. Replacing that machine. No. See that?
Say it on this factory.
Mm.
Yeah, for the night.
Sure. Sure, yeah.
I don't. Right now. Less than half.
If you can, walk.
I know,
He
but.
doesn't slow down very much. Oh my gosh, and what we do.
They're hard.
And it's true, as long as you know.
Yes, actually, a little-
Actually, what he's
Hello.
up.
Excuse me. Can you guys see me?
No, we can hear you.
I can't seem to get my video to
Okay.
let you know. It always has a red line through it, but it won't go away.
Let's go.
Well, as long as we can hear you, Mike, and we know you're there, you have to see him. Oh, right, we have to see
You
you.
got his little,
Yes,
you
I
got,
know.
you got your little cover on the camera flipped
I
over.
guess we got some more elbow.
Yeah, it says the video on the camera and the red lines through the camera.
Click on it.
Can you click on it? Well, that was a stupid question, wasn't it? Of course, you clicked on it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't do anything. It says start, when I click on it, it says start video, but it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, I think it is the toggle on the side.
It's outside of your computer, Mike.
On the right-hand side, up at the top, there's a little switch toggle.
Oh, yeah.
Move that. Yeah.
Stress the.
601.
Oh.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it is. I must have left that.
You went early. What about,
Hmm.
yeah. Jim? There?
Oh, yeah. Somebody didn't bring Dennis tonight. What is it to do?
Sorry, I don't know why Dennis isn't here. Normally he tells me, but I can't remember if he told me and I
Something
forgot.
better.
I will say he did tell me about
I
something
see it.
that he needed me to cover, so it's not just because the sun's
Okay.
out.
Something interesting. I know that's something
Right-hand
interesting.
side,
It's coming up here and it's coming up here on the side. It says,
What's in the
cannot
office
start
today?
video, failed to start the video camera. Please select another video camera in settings.
Did you switch the toggle on the side of the computer?
Yeah, yeah. When I push it one way, it shows a camera like down below without anything on it. It's just the other way, and it shows a line through it. So I switched it so without the line. But when I try to click on it, it just keeps coming up in cannot start video. Failed to start the video camera. Please select another video camera in settings. Does that make any sense?
Well, Mike, we're going to start the meeting because it is now 6:03. And you can be an observer as opposed to an actual participant because we can't see you.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything.
You can try logging out and logging back in if you want to try that. That might work for you.
Okay. All right.
Or use your cell phone. There's another option. Okay. And speaking of cell phones, I would ask everyone to turn your cell phone off or put it on vibrate, please. I'm calling this meeting to order. Calling this meeting to order. This is the May 27, 2025 Municipal Council for Colchester regular monthly meeting. And I'll ask our CAO for roll call, please.
Thank you very much. So we'll start with the chair, Mayor Blair,
Present.
Councillor Weatherby,
Present.
Councillor Sanderson,
Recording in progress.
Councillor Richard,
Present.
Councillor Cooper. We see you now.
Okay. I'm present.
Yeah, okay.
He's got two on.
You
he's
need to
got two
turn your
on.
computer
Off.
microphone off, please.
Okay, just a second here. Get it back up here again. Can't get that back up here again.
Turn the microphone off on your computer. You'll have it on your phone.
Well, I'd like to do that, but I can't seem to get it back up.
Turn your computer off.
Okay.
There we go. There, that's better. Thank you.
Counselor Johnson.
Present.
Counselor Liggett.
Present.
Counselor Martell.
Present.
Counselor Patton sends regrets. Counselor Benoit sends regrets. Counselor Fletcher.
Present.
Counselor Kennedy.
Present.
There you have one.
Thank you. In peace and friendship and in the spirit of truth and reconciliation, I acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the unceded and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq. The first item on our agenda is the appointment of the solicitor. And for the record, Anne Marie is recusing herself.
Thank you. So
Dan, please.
This is the time of year when we, council practice has been to appoint a municipal solicitor. So usually we do that and a counselor. Patterson Law has provided legal service to the municipality for over 30 years, and Dennis James has been the municipality solicitor since the early 2000s. And so they provide a full range of services, and they're located literally across the road from where we are tonight. Municipal staff have been satisfied with the diverse services available from the firm, and they have been able to respond to all areas. And I can say personally, Dennis is incredibly quick to get back to you with stuff, usually minutes or even sometimes, well, typically within an hour, but certainly within minutes of making calls when you're looking for information. Rates have been reviewed and they're reasonable. In fact, Patterson Law, for the first time in a number of years, put their rates up essentially by cost of living at the beginning of the year. But the rates are certainly reasonable. In fact, based on my experience, far lower than typically what you can see for municipal services. So at this point in the evening, council would normally make a approval. So the options before council is basically to look at, sorry, I need to back up. The municipality tendering provides council with the authority to exempt goods or services from provisions of our policy. Policy provides that staff may put forward recommendations when appropriate. So effectively tonight, that's what we're doing is staff are putting forward a recommendation that Patterson Law be considered to be reappointed as our solicitor. Of course, options outside of that would be to consider going out to the market to try and get, tenders and go through a process of review.
Thank you. And I'm prepared to entertain a motion. Councillor Martell.
I would like to make the motion that council waives policy and appoints Patterson Law as the municipality's solicitor for the fiscal year 2025-26.
Thank you. Councillor Cooper. You had your hand up.
I'll
Second that,
please.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Question has been called. All those in favor? No. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? So we have someone online. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Phil. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Welcome back, Anna Marie, for the next year.
I'm glad I don't have to tell Dennis here.
Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Seeing none, I'm prepared to entertain a motion the agenda be accepted as presented.
I'd like to make a motion that the agenda be accepted as presented.
Moved by Councillor Martell, seconded by Councillor Weatherby. Discussion on the motion?
Question.
The question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Seeing none, the motion is carried. The next item is approval of minutes from meetings held on April 24 and May 15, 2025. I'm prepared to entertain a motion with regards to those minutes. Councillor Martel.
I'd like to make a motion that the minutes be approved with the addition on page 3 under closed session that it was moved by Councillor Patton and seconded by Councillor Fletcher to be added to record.
Thank you. And this would be motion of the minutes as amended.
I'll second
Seconded by Councillor Johnson. Discussion on the motion? Councillor Cooper, you had your hand up.
Something else, thank you.
We're getting a lot of echo when you speak. Tremendous amount of echo.
How about now?
It's still there.
How about now?
Oh,
I think you need to, need to shut. What does he have to do, Tracy?
Yes, to shut his laptop.
You need to shut the laptop off
Okay.
and keep the phone on.
Okay. All right, is that better?
Much better. That's
Yeah, sorry about that.
a lot better. Thank you. All right. We have a mover and a seconder for the minutes as amended. Any discussion on the motion? Question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is business arising from the minutes. Is there any business arising from the minutes of April 24 or May 15? Councillor Sanderson, Deputy Mayor Sanderson.
Thank you, Mayor. On April 24th minutes, it mentions that we would refer to staff a request from Solar Bank Corporation to provide a letter of support for a solar farm project, and I understand that project is not going ahead. So just an update that they didn't have the capacity in the lines and the electrical grid there to fill it off. So it's not on anymore.
Okay, we'll make note of that in tonight's minutes that has changed. Thank you. Any further discussion? The minutes, business arising? Then we shall move on to our standing committee reports and recommendations. Deputy Mayor Sanderson, please.
Thank you. Our report and recommendation of council committee meeting held on May 15th. And the first item is Debert sewer service boundary. I move that council approve the Debert sewer service boundary as presented, and a copy of the boundary is attached.
Do I have a seconder for the motion? Seconded by Councillor Weatherby. Discussion on the motion? Are you ready for the question? Question's been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Motion carries. Deputy Mayor, please.
Thank you. Sewer boundary extensions in Onslow. I move that council approves the requested sewer service boundary extension on Ward Landing Road for proposed residential uses only. I'll move those two items separately.
All right, do I have a seconder for point 1? Seconded by Councillor Johnson. Discussion on the motion?
Question.
The question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Motion carries. Deputy Mayor.
I move that council approves the requested sewer service boundary extension on Matlin Drive.
Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Weatherby. Discussion on the motion?
Can I participate in the vote
In
when you call for the vote?
always,
Yes.
yes,
I
you
can
always,
understand.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
The only time you couldn't is if there was a conflict and you
Okay.
recused. Absolutely. Any discussion? Then the question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? One opposed, Councillor Sanderson. Deputy Mayor Sanderson, sorry.
Answer to either or.
Understood.
else.
You are both.
Item 3, 2 1.5 ton trucks awarded tender. I move that council authorizes staff to proceed with the purchase of 2 1.5 ton trucks with dump body and plow from Bruce Leasing for a total financial commitment of $253,980,000 excluding HST, with source of funds being the Public Works Vehicle Reserve.
And do I have a seconder for the motion? Seconded by Counselor Martell. I also didn't say motion was carried for
No.
point two, number 2.2, motion is carried. Is there any discussion on the motion that was just put on the floor? Are you ready for the question? The question's been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Motion is carried. Deputy Mayor.
The community event grant request from Great Village and District Fire Brigade's 100th anniversary. I move that council approves 5,000 for the Great Village and District Fire Brigade 100th anniversary event, with source of funding being community event grants.
Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Counselor Fletcher. Discussion on the motion.
Question.
The question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? I see no one. The motion is carried. Deputy Mayor.
5, new remote work policy, 6-month trial. I move that council approves the new personnel policy 6.25 remote work policy for a 6-month trial period as amended, and a copy of the policy is attached.
Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Counselor Johnson. Discussion on the motion. Question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? I see no one. The motion is carried. Deputy Mayor.
Item 6, new background check policy. I move that council approves the new personnel policy 5.13 background check policy as presented, and a copy of the policy is attached.
Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Counselor Kennedy. Discussion on the motion? The question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Motion is carried. Deputy Mayor.
7.1 regarding the marketing levy bylaw change request. I move that the municipality not allow operators to deduct credit card processing fees or other related expenses from the marketing levy remittances.
Seconder, seconded by Counselor Weatherby. Discussion on the motion?
Question.
The question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Motion is carried. Deputy Mayor.
And I move that the municipality proceed with amendments to the marketing levy bylaw to formally reflect a monthly remittance model, with quarterly reporting being optional.
Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Counselor Johnson. Discussion on the motion?
Question.
The question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Motion is carried. Thank you, Deputy. The next item on the agenda is the Debert Business Park Advisory Committee minutes from May 6, 2025. Is there are there any questions of these minutes? If there are not, I'm prepared to entertain a motion they be accepted for information.
So
Moved by Counselor Johnson, seconded by Deputy Mayor Sanderson, that the minutes of May 6, Debert Business Park Advisory Committee be accepted for information. Any discussion on the motion? Ready for the question. The question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? The motion is carried. The next item is there is a Debert Business Park Advisory Committee report and recommendation. And you will see the recommended amendments of the Debert Business Park Advisory Committee's terms of reference were attached for council, and that was part of the meeting held on May 6th. So you have had an opportunity to look at those as well. Flood Advisory Committee meeting of Wednesday, April 23, 20.
Terms of reference to Colchester.
Oh, yes, of course. With regards going back to the terms of reference for the Debert Business Park Advisory Committee report and recommendation, you will see that the committee has recommended that the terms of reference be amended to have 3 Colchester councillors appointed by council in addition to the mayor or deputy mayor and the District 9 councillor. That was a change from 2 councillors to 3 councillors, and I'm prepared to entertain a motion to that effect. Moved by Counselor Leggett. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Counselor Johnson. Any discussion on the motion? Counselor Johnson?
So we have three on there now, do we not? Was this just a misprint? What was it?
No, we have two counselors and the mayor. And it can be,
So I think we have Counselor Martell, Counselor Pat, Counselor Benoit.
Amy.
So we have three there now.
the District 9 counselor is separate and apart. Dan, please.
So through the chair, so as part of the appointment process this year, one extra counselor was appointed. And so basically, we're just amending the policy to allow those who were appointed to sit.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm fine with
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
There's actually 4, because I'm on it too.
Yes, you are.
I guess-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Counselor
that should
Leggett
get
is on
changed
there.
again,
So,
huh?
Dan?
No, I'm District 6.
So through the chair, so I believe as it's set up, and I'd have to double check it, but I believe that we have the local counselor, you have the mayor, and then you have 3 counselors appointed.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Discussion on the motion? Any other discussion on the motion? Are you ready for the question? Question's been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Thank you. The next item is the Flood Advisory Committee meeting minutes held on April 23, 2025. And I'm prepared to entertain a motion that this be accepted for information. Moved by Counselor Martell. Seconded by Counselor Kennedy. Any discussion, any questions with regards to the minutes?
Question.
Question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Seeing none, the motion is carried. The next item is the Executive Committee meeting minutes held, the meeting held on May 20. There is, of course, a little more to this, but I'm prepared to entertain a motion this be accepted for information. Moved by Counselor Johnson, seconded by Counselor Kennedy. Discussion on the motion? Question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving on to our action items. The first action item is the award of a tender, Springwaters Place sidewalk replacement. And I'm going to ask our Director of Public Works, Michelle, to address this, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The item before council this evening is to award the tender for the replacement of an existing asphalt sidewalk on Springwaters Place. The length of the sidewalk is 350 meters, and this item has been budgeted in the 5-year budget for the current fiscal year. As some councillors will have seen in years past, every year, so we try to replace one of the existing sidewalks that would have taken over by the province in 1995 when the road exchange agreement was created. So the drawings for the replacement were prepared in-house and posted for public tender on May 2nd. In your item, you will see the 4 tenders that we received for the work. The low bid being from Basin Contracting for $162,765. If we do proceed with awarding the tender to Basin, there will be some other project costs such as staff time, rebated tax, contingencies, and materials testing. So we expect the project commitment to be $200,000. Since this amount is over council's approved budget of $175,000, then per the procurement policy, then council would need to authorize the work. So before you is a recommendation to staff that we proceed with awarding the tender to Basin Contracting, $62,920.
Thank you. I'm prepared to entertain a motion. Counselor Johnson.
Thank you. I'll make a motion that I'd like to speak on it, please.
Okay,
Council awarded tender for the replacement of 350 meters of sidewalk along Springwater Place between Mosswood Lane and Sandra Road and Valley to Basin Contracting for a total contract amount of $162,928, excluding HST, with an anticipated project total value of $200,000.
do I have a seconder?
765.
Seconded by Counselor Weatherby. Counselor Johnson, you wanted to address this?
I would, through you, Chair, to Michelle, just crunch some numbers here. I think we were replacing sidewalks at a couple $1,000s a meter. Does this just still fall in line with that price, or is this around that amount?
Through the chair, so the estimate that we would have created, the 175,000 would be based on the previous year's estimates per meter. So we're 25,000 over, so that percentage over on unit price. I don't have the actual unit price in there. So 175,000 divided by 350 is what we would have seen in the previous year for replacements.
Okay, so that's like $470 something a day, right? I thought it was much higher than that for previous that we've done, so especially when we're replacing the concrete.
Through the chair, so new sidewalk is more expensive. When we do replace only the asphalt, we don't replace the curb because it's an existing asphalt curb, so it is less expensive for traditional curb and sidewalk, so maybe that's where the difference was in the past.
No, thank you for that. Seems fair to me.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further discussion on this motion? And are you ready for the question? Question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Thank you, Michelle. The next item,
Excuse me.
okay, would the record show that Councillor Richardson is recusing himself, please? The
Mayor, I just on the item 765, and the motions, the number's slightly different.
oh, okay,
Excellent.
42. So
yeah, this is written. Okay, sorry. Sounds good. Mhm. Thank you. Thank you for being. All right, and Devin, I'm going to ask you to address this, please.
Thank you, Mayor Blair. So the purpose of this item is to consider funding recommendations for the Community Benefits Fund in relation to the Truro Heights Community Wind Project and the Truro Millbrook Community Wind Project. So when these projects were first established, they established a community benefit fund associated with them to give back to nearby communities, particularly in District 2 and 3. So in September of 2024, a formalized agreement was established just to create a more official process to receiving and approving the applications and to distributing the funds that were generated from these projects for the community benefits fund purpose. So with that established, this is the first year. The funding opportunity was advertised in our municipal newsletter in April of this year, with the deadline for applications being May 1st. And also Deputy Mayor Sanderson and Councillor Richardson of Districts 2 and 3 also informed communities groups within their area that they were familiar with, just to inform them of the opportunity. Staff will acknowledge there was some confusion when promoting this fund, just around the in the newsletter article. It wasn't specified that the funds were typically allocated to communities within those districts of Districts 2 and 3. So I guess this will be corrected in the future. So we did unfortunately receive a few applications that weren't necessarily in line with the I guess intention of the fund. So that will be corrected in future promotion. So it was determined that within the funds this year there was $45,523.16 available within the fund to be allocated. Being most familiar with the communities within their districts, Deputy Mayor Sanderson and Councillor Richardson met with staff on May 23rd of this year to review the applications. And having the council representatives for District 2 and 3, they were involved in the process in years past. So this is just following past practice. So after thoughtful deliberation, following the funding, you'll see the recommendations there within your action item, and totaling the amount that was available. It should also be noted that Councillor Richardson recused himself from discussions and recommendations on the applications for the Hilden Community Association and the Hilden Fire Brigade, where he's involved with those organizations. So recommendations made by the municipality are to be done so in cooperation with the proponent of the wind projects. Therefore, council's recommendations, if approved, will be forwarded on to the proponent for their review and before the decisions would be made final at that time. So the options here would be to can approve the recommendations as presented or consider amending the recommendations. Staff would recommend that to approve recommendations as provided. And also just wanted to point out as well that the funds are not from municipal resources as opposed to they're from the wind projects themselves. So there's no resource implications directly for the municipality. I think that's it. If there's any questions.
Thank you, Devin. I'm prepared to entertain a motion. Can I have someone put a motion on the floor, please? Councillor Weatherby.
I'm prepared to make a motion that council approve the funding allocations as presented.
Thank you. And do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Leggett. Discussion on the motion. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. From my understanding, so there's 3 of these are on Cobequid land and 2 on Hilden land. So Millbrook, obviously some of this land is on Millbrook. I don't see them picture here on receiving funding. Is there a reason that they're not on the list, or is it because they own somebody? I'd like to know why nothing going to Millbrook on their land in their district.
I'll ask Devin to address that, please.
My understanding, I'm glancing toward Dan. My understanding, and I could be wrong on this, I was under the impression that there's a separate situation perhaps with the Millbrook community, but maybe Dan, do you have the history on that?
Through the chair. So in the past, that's my understanding, is that essentially this is broken up. There's an allocated amount for Millbrook and allocated amount separate. Now, I'll have to confirm that, but that's the way that it was done in the past. And I think in actually the first year or two to start it, Millbrook received the notification and the municipality didn't. And so there was some backtracking after that. So we just formalized all the policy on this in the last year. And I will confirm, but I do believe there's 2 separate pockets from 2 communities.
Thank you. Councillor Johnson.
If I may follow up through you to CAO.
Yes.
And I know that the landowners receive monies. So if Millbrook is a landowner, are they receiving monies and getting money from the community benefit fund also? So I don't want to skip.
Dan, please.
Sure. So through the chair, and I believe with the community benefit fund, it's very specifically segregated that the monies have earmarked, whether it's a nonprofit or whatever. So the 2-step process is an approval mechanism. So for example, tonight at council, it still has to go back to the proponent, who then looks at it and says, does it meet the criteria of the program? So it's kind of a double check. So they review the application and so on as well to make sure it's whatever the framework when it was established. I can't speak specifically to that arrangement with Millbrook, but I do know that the recommendations of council do get vetted again through the organization responsible for the wind farm itself.
Okay, thank you.
And Anna Marie, please.
And I just quickly pulled up the agreement here. So the eligible organizations are charitable organizations, not-for-profits in good standing, schools, and individuals or groups at the discretion of the recipient and proponent. So my understanding would be that Millbrook itself would not qualify as one of those categories. They may receive other funding separately.
Thank you. Further discussion? Are you ready for the question? Question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? The motion is carried. Thank you. Thank you, Devin. The next item on the agenda, and Councillor Richardson is back at the table.
I gotta excuse myself from the next one too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay.
just coming back to do it.
Oh, I see, understood, all right. Councillor Richardson is recusing himself from this item as well. And I'm going to ask our Director of Corporate Services, Scott, if you would address this, please.
Thanks, Mayor Blair. This action item is with respect to the area rate budgets for Colchester County. So in terms of area rates, these are rates that are levied for specific services that exist in particular parts of the county. So typically, common ones are streetlights, sewer service, sidewalk service, which is active transportation. The fire services are rates that we collect on behalf of the fire services. And then as well, on top of that, we also have our garbage and compost rate, which is a flat rate. So typically from year to year, there's not a lot of fluctuation in these historically, but this year there were 6 changes that were required. In terms of what those changes are, there's a new area rate this year for Fairway Avenue, which is 2 cents per 100 mil of assessment. Hilton Fire made a request for an increase from 15 cents to 20 cents for the fire service. And then the remaining ones, in terms of streetlights, those are flat rates. So Londonderry would go from 38 to 42, Onslow from 47 to 51, Pine Tree from 40 to 45. And on those ones, I will say, this is the first time they've had to be adjusted in a number of years. In 2014, Nova Scotia Power put in LED streetlights, and the cost actually went down at that point, and it stayed that way for the last 10 plus years. But now that power increases are going up, those streetlight rates have to be adjusted, and where they're flat rates and they're not being adjusted with assessed values, it's time to adjust them. The last one, which is no surprise to council, we did have the discussion last year, and then again during operating budget, we talked about the household refuse collection fee, and it had to go from 140 to 175 this year. And that's in relation to the increased cost for collection on the 3 streams. And we had talked about that in the previous year. It was 110, and we agreed we would phase it in over a couple of years. So this year it has to go from 140 to 175. So those are all the changes. In terms of the funds themselves, I have attached schedules for each fund, and we track those for service. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Thank you, Scott. I'm prepared to entertain a motion with regards to these rates, please. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. The council approves of 2025-2026 area rate budgets as presented by our CFO.
Thank you. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Sanderson. Discussion on the motion?
Question.
The question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Seeing no one, the motion is carried. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks.
The next item on the agenda is correspondence action. And there are some items here. The first being Spurgeon Stewart, Legion Branch 64, Tatamagouche. Letter dated May 8, 2025, regarding a flyby approval request. Councillor Martel, please.
I would like to make a motion that council approve the request for an RCAF flyby for the Remembrance Day ceremony in Tatamagouche on November 11th at 11 a.m. By the Canadian Air Division 1.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Seconded by Councillor Weatherby. This is always an amazing event when you see that flyby. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, are you ready for the question? Question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. The next item is from our senior planner, Jill McGillicuddy. This is a memo dated May 27 concerning a development agreement application from Benchmark Development Limited. It's suggested that this be referred to our Planning Advisory Committee, and I'm prepared to entertain a motion. Moved by Deputy Mayor Sanderson, seconded by Councillor Kennedy, that this be referred to our Planning Advisory Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Then are you ready for the question? Question's been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? The motion is carried. The next item is from Jill McGillicuddy, our senior planner. Memo dated May 27, 2025, regarding an application from Brighter Community Planning and Consulting involving an amendment to the municipal planning strategy. And the suggested action is that this be referred to the Planning Advisory Committee. I'm prepared to entertain a motion. Moved by Councillor Leggett, seconded by Councillor Kennedy, that this be referred to the Planning Advisory Committee. Discussion on the motion. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. Is this the same development that was back at the table here a little over a year ago?
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Further discussion? Are you ready for the question? Question's been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? The motion is carried. The next item is emails to the Director of Public Works and Councillor Cooper from Mr. Jason Killen requesting street lighting for 3 subdivisions in the West St. Andrews area. It is the suggested action is that this be referred to staff. I'm prepared to entertain a motion. Councillor Cooper?
Yeah, I'd so move that.
Moved by Councillor Cooper that this be referred to staff. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Seconded by Councillor Johnson. Discussion on the motion. Seeing the question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? The motion is carried. Thank you, everyone. The next item is correspondence information. And you see your reports for April 2025 from our development officer and from our building inspector. I would like to entertain a motion that these be accepted for information. Moved by Councillor Martel. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Johnson. Sorry, Councillor Cooper.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Okay, Councillor Johnson, I saw his hand first. Discussion on the motion, Deputy Mayor Sanderson.
Thank you, Mayor. Did we miss one in correspondence, from our senior planner, the Ken Eisner Benchmark Developments?
No.
Did we do that?
Yes, we did.
When did we do that?
Was that a order?
Okay. Sorry. Okay. We did indeed. All right. So we have a motion to accept these for information. Did I have a motion on the floor for that? Yeah, okay. Any discussion on these reports? Question has been called. Anyone opposed to this motion? The motion is carried. The next item is a letter from Minister John Lohr, Department of Municipal Affairs, and Minister Kim Masland, Department of Emergency Management. This was a letter to mayors, CAOs, and wardens concerning the fire services review. It's self-explanatory. There'll be more to follow, and I'm prepared to entertain a motion that this be received for information.
Okay.
Moved by Councillor Leggett. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Johnson. Discussion on the motion? All right, the question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Motion is carried. The next item is a letter from Minister Lohr, and it is in response to the municipality's letter regarding recent provincial amendments to the minimum planning requirements regulations for wind turbines. Basically, he said no. So I'm prepared to entertain a motion that this letter be received for information. Moved by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Kennedy. Any discussion?
Question.
Question has been called. Is there anyone opposed to this motion? Motion is carried. We'll move on to our information items, and the first is the appointment of the new Rathys Link Community Center board members, and I'm going to ask our CEO Dan to address this, please.
Thank you very much. So through the chair to council. So as council is aware, authority was given to executive committee for 4 new board members to be appointed to Central Nova Scotia Civic Center Society, often referred to it as a society, which is the board responsible for oversight of the Rathys Link Community Center. So the new Colchester board members appointed and who have accepted the appointment, Doug McGinnis, Ron Smith, Andrew Lake, and Dan Nolan. So a board meeting is yet to be scheduled, but of course the town of Truro has appointed their 4 members. And so Doug McGinnis, Ron Smith, Andrew Lake, and Dan Nolan are the 4 new committee members appointed for a 1-year term.
Thank you for that report. The next item is reports from our council members. And the council, thank you very much for your reports. We're a busy group as always, and there are so many things going on this time of year. And I do thank Councillor Weatherby for attaching the Northern Region Waste Resource Committee minutes. Very informative and appreciate it. Does anyone have any questions for on any of the reports? I always enjoy seeing what everybody is doing. It's really very, very interesting and very informative. And I thank you for everything you do on a month-to-month basis, daily basis when we're dealing with council work. And appreciate the reports. Thank you. I'm prepared to entertain a motion that we go in camera. Moved by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Fletcher. We are now in camera. We'll take a 10-minute break.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna go browse, man.
It's so robotic.
Oh, no, sorry.
Famous last words.
Okay.
The famous
Oh,
last words.
yes, I shouldn't say that. I'll jinx it.